Bet you didn't think you'd see a video from me in your subscription box today. Hi guys, my name is Lacie of spookylipsandfathips, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Oh my good gosh, it's been a minute. It's really been a minute. Oh geez. I am notorious for taking breaks on YouTube. I understand that. I have never once in the 3 years I've had this channel, that's weird to say, I have never once been consistent really, truly for long periods of time. And that's always been my goal, to be consistent on YouTube. But that never seems to happen. Now I might know why, and we're going to get into that today. Today, I'm just going to chat with you guys. I'm going to give you guys a life update. I'm going to talk very candidly about what's happening with me and my life and my mental health. So genuine trigger warning, if the topics of mental health are going to upset you, please don't watch this video. Also, if you're someone that doesn't give a shit about me as a person or my personal life or anything like that, and it's going to annoy you to watch this video, click out of it. I'll talk about makeup next time. Ooh, speaking of makeup though, I am wearing fun things on my face. I'm wearing the new Kaleidos Escape Pod palette. This was sent to me in PR. I don't know why. I'm not a good YouTuber, but Kaleidos continues to send me PR, so thank you. I've been having so much fun with this. I genuinely love this palette, except I wish instead of 2 green metallics, they gave me a green matte. Then it would be perfect. But anyway, I also have one of their blush duos on. This is the Lo-Fi Peach blush duo. I have just the matte powder on because my highlighter is the Space Age highlighter, dropping products, in Diamond Dasher. This might be my new favorite highlighter. I absolutely love this. It's so fucking pretty. I'm not sponsored. It was sent to me in PR, but I've purchased a lot of Kaleidos before they ever knew who I was as a human. I would have purchased this whole collection with my own money. Chef kiss. Love it. So yeah, that was your one bit of makeup. The rest is going to be personal about me. Actually, I might talk about makeup at the end. I might talk about how, as everything's been happening in my life, my relationship with makeup is changing. And that's a video I've been wanting to do for like the last year since I've moved out of New Jersey. I've been wanting to talk about the ways that moving and being unemployed for so long and being on my own for the first time and having real bills for the first time, I wanted to talk about the ways that was changing my relationship with makeup. But then my mental health kind of got thrown into that, so I've really had a drastically different change in my relationship with makeup. So I might touch on that in the end, actually. I got my Casper shirt on. I have no pants. If you see a sweat mustache, just know it's July and I'm in studio lights. I can't do much about it. And my air conditioner's on. Not turning it off. Sorry guys, I don't love you that much to turn off my air conditioner. Sorry. So like I said 5 minutes ago, I'm gonna talk very candidly about my mental health. And I've always done that on this channel because I'm hoping that by talking openly about what I'm going through, my experiences, it will encourage some of you to seek treatment if you have the means to do so. I know not everybody does. That's a different subject for a different day. But I know that there's a lot of people out there who do have the means to seek treatment for various things going on in their life, but they just choose not to out of fear maybe, out of fear of the process, fear of being judged, fear of the stigma around mental health. So I like to normalize mental health as much as humanly possible. I know a lot of people have reached out to me and have said, thank you so much for talking about this because I go through the same thing and it helps me. It helps me feel normal to know that you struggle with this and I struggle with this, because that's the thing. You're not alone. Nobody's ever alone in their mental health struggles, and I just want to normalize these conversations so badly. Also know, as I say this, I'm just a bitch with a bunch of problems. I'm not a mental health expert. I can only ever speak from my experience. I can't give you clinical help, but I do encourage you to seek the help that you can seek out, that is professional, that is clinical. Like I said, if you have the means to do so. In America, it's not so easy. I get that. So I think a lot of you know that when COVID hit, I had just started my job. I was an essential worker. I work in the medical field, and it was a lot all at once. Matt also is an essential worker. He is a DSP. It was so terrifyingly scary for everybody, obviously, but especially for the both of us going out as two people leaving to go into the world while everybody else is being told to stay home. And every day that one of us left, I was very convinced that one of us was going to get sick and potentially die. I was going to say that sounds dramatic, but I think given the circumstances, we can all understand that that's a very real thing that could have happened. I'm going to knock on some wood real fast. Oh my God. Especially Matt's household that he works in did get hit with COVID. They had cases of COVID. Staff members had it. Residents had it. And it was probably the scariest part of this whole thing. I was 4 hours away from my family during all of this. I was terrified for my parents' sake because they have exposure to my brother, who is also a DSP. My mom works in a school system. They're in the at-risk age range. I was terrified for my mother-in-law. And I felt like I had no control. I'm sure a lot of people have felt like they've lost control over everything during all of this, and my heart goes out to every other essential worker, because I don't feel that essential, to be perfectly honest. Like, people have been saying during all of this that they appreciate that I go out and I work and that I'm doing all this. I have never once felt deserving of that praise. I've never once felt like I was doing anything brave or heroic. There are people that I do know who are doing brave and heroic things. Like, I would argue Matt and my brother being DSPs is way more important than what I do. So it always felt weird when people would kind of say that to me, but just know, if you are an essential worker, if you were someone who worked in medicine, worked in shipping, grocery stores, postal service, anything like that, thank you, because I know how terrifying it was, and you put yourself at risk, put your family at risk. That's crazy, and I can't believe we're in the situation we are in now, where our government is undoing all of the work that all of us did to be safe during that time. But anyway, also at my job, I was faced directly with COVID deaths. Not personally, it wasn't like in my space where people were affected, again, knock on wood, but just because of what I do in medicine, without being so specific, I was dealing with the aftermath of people having passed away from COVID, which was really a lot to deal with. And my mental health problems that I was already experiencing got kicked up to 11, so to speak. I already suffer with really terrible insomnia, very terrible anxiety. I had been struggling terribly with low self-esteem and depression ever since my move, because I put a lot of value into the work that I wasn't doing. I was unemployed for way longer than I wanted to be. I put a lot of my own value into needing to find my career, needing to use my degrees that I went to school with, needing to be the exact kind of person that I always envisioned myself being. And I really have not been in a good place for the last year. I've really I know a lot of you have commented since I've moved that I've seen so much happier and freer. And it's just been this weird juxtaposition of that being true, of definitely feeling the most myself, the most free, the most happy I could be, while also being the most isolated and depressed that I've ever been in my life, and feeling the worst about myself that I had ever felt in my life. And I always assumed if I didn't think badly about myself in terms of my appearance, that I didn't have low self-esteem, because I think very highly of myself when it comes to me as a human in a body existing on this earth. I don't have physical appearance low self-esteem struggles like I did as a teenager, but I've come to terms with the fact that I have incredibly low self-esteem and low self-worth when it comes to my work in the world, as Hannah Louise Poston would say, what I'm put on this earth to do, what career I see myself in, if I'm helping other people, because I feel like it's my job in this world to save everybody, to do as much as I can to break the chains of the system, to be an advocate for whoever needs it. And I felt like I wasn't doing that. And it on top of that, also having to depend on Matt during the time that I was unemployed, dealing with the rejections of going through so many interviews, it was a lot. So everything, being so far away from my family, my friends, my support system, having no friends in this city, I'm only just now, thank God, having physical friends in this city, but I was so isolated, and Matt was leaving to go to work for these crazy 14-hour shifts. It all spiraled out of control when COVID hit, is the moral of the story. And I was at my breaking point, and I reached out to a mental health hotline through my job that my job was offering to all essential workers being affected by COVID, basically. And it was just like a phone call. It was nice. It was mildly helpful, but as someone who had like diagnosed issues they'd been struggling with for years, there was only so much that one phone call could do. But the gentleman that I spoke with over the phone, who was a licensed psychologist, recommended that I go this specific avenue to seek actual long-term mental health treatment, just based on my history and based on what I was telling him. And that's what I've been doing during my entire absence on YouTube. Basically, the second my health insurance kicked in with my job, because I haven't had health insurance in a couple years now. Again, America, am I right? The second my health insurance kicked in, I started therapy and I started meeting with a psychiatrist. So a psychologist and a psychiatrist. I know people have opinions on mental health treatment and just mental health in general. I'm for finding the process that works best for you. You need to figure that out with your care team, essentially. I'm going to talk about what I've been doing, again, candidly, because I think it might help people. Why the fuck is there an ice cream truck going by right now? Oh my god. So I've been working with a therapist who I am so fortunate enough to love. I was expecting to have to shop around, which I recommend you doing, but I really clicked with my therapist immediately. And I also went into mental health treatment this time around knowing that I was going to lay every single card I could possibly have on the table. In the past, when I was treated for my panic disorder, when I was newly in college, I withheld a lot of information because I was worried about what would happen to me if I was the most honest about what I was feeling, my history, what I've done to myself. You can use your imagination. This time I went into it knowing that I was only going to get the truest amount of help possible if I was the most honest with my thoughts, my feelings, my concerns, everything. No holds barred, like, it's all there, baby. In fact, my therapist was actually kind of shocked. Like, I think she made a comment about, like, this not being my first time going through therapy because I was like, bing, bang, boom, here's all my shit. This is my history. This is what I'm feeling. Treat me. I'm open to anything. And then I also met with a psychiatrist through FaceTime, through, like, an iPad. None of this has been in person. And I got some new diagnoses. Is that the plural of diagnosis? Diagnoses? I've been diagnosed with something that makes so much sense for me, and it's really crazy how just knowing that there's a word for how you feel inside can in itself change things for the better, which is why I'm making this video, which is why I'm speaking so honestly right now. Back so many years ago, I was having so many panic attacks a day. I've told this story a million times on my channel. I had no quality of life. It wasn't good. I was diagnosed with a panic disorder. I took medication for that, learned a lot of life skills, coping skills, eventually weaned off the medication. Wasn't as terrible of a problem as it was when I first went through this whole process, but I still suffered with anxiety, just always being my constant default mood, and the occasional panic attack, terrible insomnia all the time for years and years and years, and depression. I've always gone through these ebbs and flows of terrible depression and terrible self-value and self-worth, if that makes sense. And in my whole life, I've always assumed it would go away if. So I'm in this now, I'm struggling with X thing in my life now, but when I hit this, when this happens, when I get to here, then it will be better and then I won't be depressed anymore. That kept happening. So it kept being like, oh, when I find a better job, I won't be depressed anymore. Now I'm in a better job, but oh, once I finish school, then I won't be depressed anymore. Oh, I finished school, but I'm still depressed. But oh, when I get a even better job, it's actually my field, then I'll feel better. Oh, I can't find anything in my area. Oh, when I move and I'm out on my own, then I'll feel better. And then I got here and I had everything I'd ever wanted and I still didn't feel better. So I assumed, oh, when I get a great job, then I'll feel better. When I'm more financially stable, then. There was always an if and a when and a reason why I felt terrible now, but why it'll probably go away in the future. And then I got a great job. I'm so fortunate to have the job that I have. And my job is a pain in the ass, and I'm very stressed about my job most of the time. But I love the organization I work for. I cannot believe I'm being paid a relatively decent wage. Like, I'm truly entry level, but it's more than I've ever made in my life. I have benefits. I have a true, like, Monday through Friday 9 to 5. I've never envisioned that for myself because I've always been like a retail worker, and I have such a positive work environment. I have such positive coworkers. It's been such a great experience so far. I get to basically be myself at my job, even though it is this business, like, I leave house in my, like, business clothes kind of ordeal. I still get to, like, decorate my office with Halloween decorations, and I still wear relatively ridiculous makeup, and nobody gives a shit. So I feel like I have no excuse to be sad anymore, but I'm still always, like, gnawingly sad, and what Matt and I refer to as going to the bad place, which maybe you could use your imagination for what that might mean, but think worst case scenario. And long story short, I was diagnosed with a disorder called dysthymia, as well as having insomnia and anxiety, which I had known about. Dysthymia is basically just persistent depression. So the way that my psychiatrist was able to explain it to me, and I sobbed hearing her explain this back to me, was, if this is the highest of the high, feeling great, on top of the world, I love myself, I love my life, I'm so happy, everything's great, and this is the lowest of the low, always sad, always depressed, always gloomy, feeling like shit about myself, can barely get out of bed, have no interest in doing anything, have no motivation, just worse. I always kind of hang out around here. So sometimes I'll be slightly above the lowest of the low. Sometimes I'll be even lower than the lowest of the low, but I genuinely always hang out around here. And it doesn't go away for longer than a couple weeks to a month or so. And to have someone explain back to me that there's a word for this, that it's not just me being a terrible person and not living up to all of the expectations I've set for myself and blah, blah, blah. To know that it's probably genetic, just in my specific case, that there's reasons for it and that it can be treated through things like therapy and also medication, to know that it's actually highly treatable. It's one of the most treatable kinds of depression. I instantly felt like I was getting better. It instantly took such a weight off my shoulders. It instantly felt like I was given some kind of a gift to live, like the gift to keep going, the gift to keep pushing, because my ideal, happy, fulfilled, self-loving self is achievable, and it's something that I'm working towards now, and it's the best that I've ever felt, but I'm not out of the woods yet. So needless to say, I started a medication, and I'm currently in the roughest bits of that. If you've ever started any kind of psychiatric medication, there's a period where it can get much worse before it gets better. You have to experiment with types of medication, with doses, with when you take it during the day. And I've been experiencing like debilitating tiredness due to what I'm on. And it's something that I'm currently working with my doctor with. And I'm very much monitoring, and Matt's monitoring. So I don't want anyone to worry about me. And it's been rough because it feels like I took so many steps forward and then I took so many steps back because the side effects are stopping me from being as productive as I want to be, and I come home from work and I'm too tired to do anything, and it feels no different than when I was just too sad to do anything, and then I feel guilty because I'm not doing what I want to do. I'm not contributing more to the podcast. I'm not contributing to my YouTube channel. I'm letting everybody down, especially lately because the beauty community tag has been going around and so many people have said so many nice things about me. And I was on Robert Welsh's channel and I've had some people shout me out. And I've been feeling so guilty that all these new people have found my channel and then gone and seen that I haven't posted in over a month and been like, oh, fuck this bitch. And I take it so personally. When I see other people growing, because I'm so envious that I can't just get my shit together to post as frequently as they do. And it's like, on the one hand, I wish nothing but success for everyone that I'm friends with on YouTube. They all deserve it. They're all hardworking and amazing. But it makes me feel like what's wrong with me that I can't do that. And it's this constant battle that I have going on in my head that I'm trying to work on. And it's funny because my therapist made a comment about trying to get up a video every other week. And I was like, oh no, you don't know how YouTube works. That's not good. So I'm even filming this probably sooner than she wanted me to. She wanted me to not think about YouTube for a hot second. But here I am. And it just sucks because I thought things would get easier by now, but they're not. And I'm trying to just be easy with myself, and I'm trying to remind myself that this is a process and that I don't have to go through this alone, that I have a lot of people on my team cheering for me, and that, like I said before, what I'm experiencing is treatable and I will be treated. One way or another, I'm gonna get help. I'm gonna see the other side. I'm gonna be better. Is it something that I will never have to struggle with again in my life? Probably not, but it's something that I will be able to manage, and I'll be able to be happier and more productive than I've ever been before. And I don't have to constantly worry about the if and the then. I can just be present and be happy now, which is all I've ever wanted. In the midst of all this, crazy life things have been happening. I'm sure, as a lot of you have noticed, most weddings are getting canceled because of COVID. Matt and I had this wonderful plan to fly to Vegas with all of our loved ones and have this kind of like fun eloping wedding where we all just like kind of have fun for a weekend. That's off the table now. We are planning to just truly sign the paperwork, and then we'll celebrate some other time when it's safer. That's the conclusion that we've come to. So if you've noticed, I've just started referring to Matt as my husband. It's because he basically is. We haven't signed the paperwork yet, but it's basically going to happen when we get a second. That's really all I can say. And like I said, we'll celebrate later. It's not a big deal. I'd rather everybody be safe. And I'd be Matt's partner regardless. Nothing's changing otherwise. And I actually also got promoted at my job. I hit my 90 days and like almost instantly was offered the next level up essentially in my job, and I am so excited to start that. It came with a raise that I wasn't prepared for, which is perfect because my private student loan doubled like the week I was told I got this job, so that's lovely. So there's all these like good things happening. Like Matt and I are going to sign paperwork and officially be married. That's wonderful. I got promoted at my job. That's crazy and wonderful too. And I just miss doing this. I miss doing YouTube. That feels like the final puzzle piece almost. I feel like, you know, I have the job that I like. I have the pay and the benefits. I'm able to live in a beautiful area that I love, a beautiful home that I love. I have the most amazing partner that I could ever ask for. I have such a great support group. I have such great friends. I'm getting back into other hobbies. Like I've just dove right into video games again. I used to never have the awareness or the emotional willingness to play video games. That was something that I loved to do that I lost for so many years, and now I'm constantly on Steam playing horror games, which is awesome. And I miss this. I miss YouTube. I miss being active on YouTube. I miss my community on YouTube. To me, it's like one of the final puzzle pieces, and I want to get it back. And even today, I didn't let myself talk myself out of it. I just came home, did what I had to do, put on new makeup, put up the camera, and went for it. And I think so many times before I've wanted to do that, but my anxiety gets the best of me and I talk myself out of it. I didn't let that happen today, and I'm very glad that I didn't. And I realize this is so much information, this is so much personal information to be putting on the internet, but I don't care because I'm a very open person and I have always been open on my channel, and I hope that this maybe motivates anybody to just go for it. And if you're going the route of therapy or psychiatric treatment or both or just one or the other, I'm begging you to be as honest as humanly possible with the person that you're working with, because that is a mistake that I made in the past, and that is probably why I could have been probably diagnosed with dysthymia years ago, but I was never truly honest about these feelings that I was having, and it was only to my detriment. And I suffered for so many more years than I probably should have or needed to. And that sucks, and it feels like time that was robbed from me. but all I can do now is look forward to the future, which I am looking forward to and I'm excited. I was going to turn this into a talk about where makeup falls into all this and my relationship with makeup. This video is already too long and too personal, so that can maybe be a part 2. Maybe I'll do this sometime later in the week or next week. I also know you all are dying to see the rest of my makeup collection. I know everyone who mentioned me in the beauty community tag, always answered that I had their favorite collection. So I know you guys are dying to see it. I will continue with that, I promise. And I do still love makeup. So don't think I'm going to come on this channel and be like, well, I'm suddenly a bird channel because I hate makeup, but I love birds. I don't know. I still love makeup. I am in a weird financial place with makeup. I have a lot to talk about with how my relationship with makeup has evolved over the last year and a half. I want to do that video if you care to hear it. I'm very inspired by like Hannah Louise Poston's journey to do this video not only, but also that video. So stay tuned for that. Also, please know that I am okay. I don't want any comments of people like worrying about me or, you know, anything like that. I'm okay. I truly mean that. Things are adjusting and the adjustment is rough. It would be weird if it wasn't. That's to be expected. But I'm okay and I'm going to get even better. And I just want to return to YouTube, and I felt like I couldn't do that until I did this and laid all of my cards out on the table. Just feels like a very Lacie thing to do. I don't know. I also appreciate everybody who has stood by my channel, recently subscribed even though I wasn't posting anything, spoke with me on social media, allowed me to take the mental health break that I took because it was so beyond the mental health breaks I've taken in the past where it was just like, I'm stressed out and I'm not going to post for a week or two. It was something is wrong and I need to get medical help for it, and I'm thankful that you guys gave me the space to do that. Thank you. But other than that, I think I've talked way too much and been way too personal for too long. If you like this video, if you like, I don't know, mental health kinds of videos, and if you like me, please hit like and subscribe. You can also follow me on my Instagram, which is also spookylipsandfathips. You'll see makeup stuff there. Or my Twitter at spookylacey. You can listen to me every week on the Half Cousins podcast. We're now on like every streaming platform possible. We're truly a real podcast now. All of that information will be linked down below. Please leave me a comment, even if it's just saying hey, because I've missed you guys. But other than that, that is all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys!